The Irish government have yet again failed to protect the Irish citizens by letting a kidnapper into the country. This time an Indian man got convicted, okay, of course, of kidnapping or a potential abduction of a 6-year-old. We're going to watch this news story from Virgin Media News. Of course, what's new, guys? The government have let in, killers, people that behead people that do heinous crimes with no accountability. And then we're also going to react to a video after with Simon Harris and a few other, Gary Gannon, a few other political members talking about how they can't control anything at the border. They're completely useless when it comes to controlling who's coming in and out of the country. This guy, of course, who got pled guilty to the offense that he did, the kidnapping offense, he has been ordered to leave the country in 2 weeks. Basically, he got off scot-free, okay? He didn't get any criminal conviction, and he tried to kidnap a child. I mean, this is comical stuff, guys. This is not even comical stuff. This is, insane, ludicrous, not even real life type of shit, guys. So let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I mean, you couldn't write this in a flippin' horror novel. A guy that tries to kidnap kids gets no conviction. Truly, truly bizarre. Country has gone to the dogs, of course. We know that already. Let's hear it.
Raj Leela arriving at court today to learn his fate. The 26-year-old student, who was originally from India, pleaded guilty to attempted child abduction following an incident at an apartment block in North Dublin in September 2024. The court heard that Mr. Leela was attending an Indian celebration in the apartment and he had consumed 4 drinks, a whiskey and 3 shots of Jägermeister. Mr. Leela had come to Ireland 10 months earlier.
First of all, un-Irish, because he can't handle his drink. Second of all, what's he doing in some apartment in 2024 and now only getting convicted in 2025? So this guy's been rolling around the streets of Dublin. He's been roaming around the streets of Ireland for a year without conviction. I hope he was in jail. He wasn't in jail because he was able to walk in and out of the courtroom. I mean, this is crazy. He should be in jail until his court sentence. Man, I tell you, wild stuff. What was his name again? Vivek something?
Raj Leela arriving at
Rashish Leela, okay.
Court today.
I have nothing against Indians. Indian people are actually very friendly. I have a lot of friends, that are Indian, a lot of associates, business people as well. Great business people, very friendly. Normally chill people, but this guy obviously can't handle his drink. You know what I mean? He had 3 shots of Jaeger and a couple of flipping, cans of flipping whiskey or a couple of cans of beer, and he flipping tries to kidnap people. I mean, complete off his rocker.
To learn his fate. The 26-year-old student, who was originally from India, pleaded guilty to attempted child abduction following an incident at an apartment block in North Dublin in September 2024. The court heard that Mr. Leela was attending an Indian celebration in the apartment and he had consumed 4 drinks, a whiskey and 3 shots of Jägermeister. Mr. Leela had come to Ireland 10 months earlier to complete a master's in marketing. As he was leaving the party, he met 2 children, a brother and sister whom he did not know. He attempted to abduct the 5-year-old boy, but the boy's sister managed to push Leela, causing him to fall and allowing the children to escape.
Oh no, this is sick. I actually apologize for kind of chuckling and making humor in the beginning, because this is sick, guys. So he had 4 shots of flipping beer, and then he left the party and he tried to kidnap a 6-year-old. Like, what the hell? This guy's deranged. What the fuck is he talking about?
Sister whom he did not know.
And he was only in the country for 10 months. So they're letting these people in. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't know the background. They don't know anything. It's free-for-all. It's complete free-for-all.
Attempted to abduct the 5-year-old boy, but the boy's sister managed to push Leela, causing him to fall and allowing the children to escape. Mr. Leela left the party, but he returned later after Gardaí were alerted. He made full admissions, and the court heard that he may have gotten mixed up with the identities of the children, believing that they were his niece and nephew. The court was told Mr. Leela was intoxicated and he did not remember the incident. He said it was 2 minutes of a mistake that had ruined his life. In sentencing,
that's insane. So they didn't even know. So he was so drunk, or he was so off his rocker, he doesn't know. I mean, that kind of sounds like an excuse. I want to be fair to the guy. Like, he probably didn't know if they were Indian kids. They might have looked the same as other kids. You don't know, but he just met them on the street. So that couldn't have been the case. He's obviously trying to abduct people. This is absolutely ludicrous. The guy's full of shit, guys. What the hell?
Judge Martin Nolan concluded that
Judge Martin Nolan.
Mr. Leela was not a danger to children and that his level of culpability was at the low end. He sentenced him to 3 years but suspended that sentence in full under a number of conditions, including that he leave the country within the coming 2 weeks and that he not return here.
For how long? For a few years? He's only... Oh, okay, if you kidnap people in Ireland, you only have to leave for a few months, a few years, and then you're able to come back. What the hell sort of shit is that? I saw... Who did I see this morning, lads? You know that guy from Love Hate, famous traveller, man? He talked openly about the anti-government stuff years and years ago. But I saw him this morning on Twitter, on X, previously known as Twitter, talking about how Judge Martin Nolan should be held accountable for letting, child abductors and people like that free. He's very light-handed. Like, you'd want a heavy-handed guy when it comes to child crimes and, sexual crimes, guys. Like, you want a heavy-handed, or like murder or assault, violent crimes. Robbery, you could say something differently. If someone comes and robs your car or whatever, it's a little bit different. They rob your shop. Still the same, in my opinion, because you're robbing someone's property. But violent crime, sexual crime, you need to be very, very careful, because if you read like FBI statistics, I used to read them years ago, they only escalate. They only get worse, guys. It's not like the guy is going to stop offending with sexual crime, violent crime. People get worse if they don't get punished, if they don't get convicted. This is proper stats. Just look it up. It's crazy. So, yeah, the guy's just going to re-offend and, has no accountability whatsoever. Insane. Weeks later, Harris still doesn't know why a man who sexually assaulted somebody was let into Ireland. So we're about to hear this one, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. So I'm pretty sure Ben Scallon asked Simon Harris a few weeks ago why this person was let into the country. He had like 16 previous convictions from the UK, and nobody knows. Like I said, open borders, free for all, people coming in and out. Nobody knows anything. Who's this guy? Oh, who knows? Could be flipping from Timbuktu, could be from flipping wherever. They have no idea what's going on, guys. We need some accountability here.
Taoiseach, a couple of weeks ago, I asked you about the case of Randy Gladstone, who was convicted. I'm
going to skip that word.
With 18 previous convictions.
18 previous convictions, guys. Jesus, this is no joke anymore. This is just insane. Like,
in the UK, who then came to Ireland and committed rape here on an 18-year-old girl. He was convicted of that, including for false imprisonment and so on. And you said you weren't across the details of the case at the time, so you couldn't comment on it.
Yeah, I'm not across the details, Ben. I don't want to mislead you.
I'm wondering if the intervening weeks, have you figured out an explanation as to why that case happened, given the systems that are currently in place that we hear so much about as far as vetting and so on?
Wait. Before the mainstream news continues, we have to put on our glasses, guys. So this way now we know the bullshit that he's going to come out with. We cut right through. We notice exactly what's going on.
But really, it's a matter for our immigration system and those who enforce that to speak to that. But I am concerned about...
So apologies, Taoiseach. I mean, as a very senior member of the government, are you not part of the legal framework and the system that we have to prevent things like this from happening? Is that not part of your responsibility?
Of course I am, and that's why today at Cabinet, and it's important your viewers know this and your readers know this too, that's why today at Cabinet we're bringing forward proposals to improve the immigration system in Ireland, to make it more robust, to make it more firm, to make sure that the systems work and work better.
It's 2025. That should have been done 30 years ago. What the... Oh, lads, this is crackpot shit. Like, I'm putting the glasses back on.
It's our overriding objective here in relation to making sure we have an immigration system that is fit for purpose in relation to individual cases and how they work, how they're administered before the courts, how our Gardaí interact in relation to them. That is a matter for those authorities.
But I'm sorry. I
don't have any further knowledge in relation to that case.
It's nothing to do with the legal case that came afterwards. The question is about how an individual who had very serious convictions on their record in our neighbouring jurisdiction was allowed to enter the country, why that wasn't flagged, or if it was flagged, why he was allowed to enter the state anyway. Again, I'm just asking for clarification. Do you know how that happened, why that happened? Was it a failure of the existing system? Was it that there isn't a system in place to catch things like that? Do you know what happened or how this transpired?
It's a really good question, because if you guys are well traveled, you can't go to the US, you can't go to Canada, you can't go to certain countries, Australia, if you have a criminal conviction, a drug conviction. I mean, I would imagine in any civilized country, if you have a sexual conviction, like that guy did, 18 previous convictions, you wouldn't be allowed into the country, guys. Plain and simple. Your ass is not coming here. It's final. Bullshit, man. I put you personally on the straight flight back home. But no, They just walked him through. They probably bought him a beer at the terminal too. Ah, sure, come on here, lads, have a beer. Like, well, where are you from? Like, seriously, this is the bullshit. This is probably how it goes on, guys, honestly.
So my position in relation to this is very clear. I mean, if people have such issues, they should, of course, be flagged. The system should, of course, detect them, and it should be a cause of concern that didn't happen. Should that not have happened? I don't have all of the access to all of the information.
But and again, I really want to obviously give you a chance to respond. But I have to ask. I mean, it's been weeks since I brought this up to you. Is it not something that you would have looked into as far as a critical systems failure? It appears in our immigration system, the way it works. This is clearly an issue that's of huge concern to many, hundreds of thousands of people across this country who saw massive protests in Dublin over the weekend with people raising concerns about issues like this. Is this not something that you should be across the details of now, weeks later after it was brought up to you?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's critical systems failure. Beautiful words by Ben. Like, you have to really lock down what the hell is going on. They locked down the whole place when this shit happened 5 years ago. Why can't they do it now? Lads, this is awful.
I think it's important that I say to those people, firstly, I think when people protest and express their views in a democracy, I think they should always be heard. And I do think people have made it very clear that in Ireland, the overwhelming majority of people believe migration to be a good thing, but they want to know that the systems work.
No. The overall amount of people do not believe that's a good thing. What the hell? This guy's just putting shit out. No, this is such bullshit, man. I can't even watch these videos anymore.
And I accept that when people raise cases where there is significant public concern in relation to that does nourish the need for further answers and further information. I don't have that information today, being quite honest. We're
going to leave it there with him, man, because he has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know what day of the week it is. He doesn't know anything. Here we have Gary Gannon from, Social Democrats. Social Democrats isn't even a party, guys. I mean, people before profit, Social Democrats, they're just communist, Marxist, left-wing, woke, DEI, ideology. So it's impossible to even talk with these people. But Social Democrats, deportations are part of an effective asylum system. Let's see what Gary Gannon has to say about it.
Would you agree in principle with the general idea that if you analyze somebody's case, it's been processed, they've been found to be wanting in their story, maybe there's an appeal process, they go through the appeal process, if all of that can be done relatively quickly in, let's not say 3 months, let's say 6 months or some other period of time like that at that point deporting people who are found to be false asylum claimants would be a good thing if the government was to streamline the deportation process for those who
that's something that we certainly never denied. Deportations are part of an effective asylum system, but it has to be fair. So if somebody doesn't meet the standard, that's fine, but they should have access to the courts, they should have access to legal representation, they should have access to a system that's fair, that doesn't just have a kind of homogenous one-size-fits-all model of a person coming from. I'm not going to pick out countries, but there are different countries that are more complex than others, but it has to be fair. But deportations are part of an effective asylum process.
What does he mean it has to be fair? It is fair. If you commit a crime, you're not allowed into our country, goddammit. What the hell is this idiot talking about? And he speaks so fast and so unclear. I can't understand a word this guy is saying. That's why I can't react to some of the Grip videos, because I can't even understand what this fucking guy is saying. I'll be perfectly honest, guys. He like mumbles all his words. Just a terrible speaker. How he ever got elected. How people vote for these people is just beyond me. Like, they even look at the ballot. Like, just don't pick these people. Like, ever.
Doesn't mean the minister has to go more in Ireland like he did about a month ago, as if he was a general coming back from war. I mean, that for me doesn't represent an effective system. But for that, we all want to get probably to the same place, but maybe we're getting there in a different way. But I didn't think this morning's announcement was representative of a compassionate, understanding system.
Absolute nonsense. Go over to Grip Media, guys. Like, comment, share their stuff. You can donate on their channel as well, buy their merch, or check out my merch. And yeah, it's insane to see that they're just letting people walk free that kidnap people. That's the Ireland that we live in 2025, guys, okay? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sure you all will. I mean, this is an insane video. Letting, potential kidnappers and sexual assault people that commit these crimes free, murderers. I mean, God knows what's been done in the history of this country. God knows, because the corruption is like True Detective Season 1. It just runs deep. Thank God I don't really have much family in I have a few cousins in Galway or whatever, but like, I tell you, lads, some of the people that run up there in government, they have deep histories and deep skeletons in their claws, and it would be great to see uncovering of that of some kind, you know. If whoever's in the Gardaí, if you're watching this, like a high up detective, investigate them, guys. I'd love to see some investigations of some high up, you know, rich people in flipping Dublin, or rich people that ran the country back in the day, you know, the 1847 shit like that, guys. See the corruption that happened back then. It'd be great to see some people convicted of crimes, or, you know, ancestors convicted, because we can then shine a light on what the family is going to be like. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. Hit the join link underneath the video to support me and become a member to help push back against the mainstream, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.